All right, bang, bang. We are back. We have a big tournament, some better prizes here on DraftKings. We are at the Players. So if you remember last year, this is the tournament where it ended up whenever the COVID outbreak happened and the tournament got canceled mid-tournament. Price has a nice little story there we'll get into in a second. But we are in the middle of the Florida swing here. At the Players, it's most known for the 17th green, the island green, as you're aware of. You can get a 2 or you can get an 8. It's actually a pretty easy hole, but the island green makes it awesome. So the last 3 holes are very iconic, from the par 5 on the 16th, gettable in 2, very, very easy eagle opportunity. Then you have the island. Then you have a very difficult par 4 18th hole to come down. So the stretch here at this tournament is awesome. Now, what else for this course? It's a standard par 72, right under 7,200 yards, 71.89. There is a water hazard on 17 of the 18 holes. I think they've added a couple water hazards over the last, I think 3 years ago. They added 2 or 3. Bermuda grass, and a couple stats that we're looking at is strokes gained approach every week, par 5 scoring, 3-putt avoidance. And then also, for me personally, I really like strokes gained off the tee and off the tee because it can be penile if you do miss the fairway. So let's get into it. I'm excited. This is a good week. I'm excited for the DraftKings contest. Hopefully they're up in their game for this marquee event at the Players. So Price, you owe us a story. Before we get into that, any other thoughts on a preview, a first look of the Players? Y'all pretty excited about it?
Oh, it's gonna be a good week. You got a really good field this week, headlined by DJ and all the top guys. It's a very tricky course. You can't really overpower it, which is hand in hand with a Pete Dye design. So I'm looking forward to it. It should be another good week of golf. Hopefully it's not crazy weather like we've had a couple weeks in the last month, but I'd like to see the course kind of bare its teeth and not let a guy go out and shoot 20 under and win.
So hit us up with that story.
I'm trying to find what the guy's name was, but so what happened was you have Decky, come blitz the field, shoot 9 under. A bunch of guys are 7 under, and then the last group is on 18. And it's getting kind of dark, and one of the guys just says, "I'm not putting in the dark. I refuse to hit this putt." So if the guy had actually just finished out that hole, all the contests would have finalized on DraftKings. And so the guy who was winning in the Millie Maker last year, instead of getting $1 million, got nothing because that guy wouldn't hit his putt. So brutal. Because I mean, that's crazy to have that come down to that, but I remember it because it was like my 3rd biggest entries ever, and I had 3 guys who were just god awful. Because I had Fleetwood, and Fleetwood was 6 over in the first round, and Fowler was 4 over, and I was like, oh my gosh, I just wasted this $1,500, and then everything got canceled and refunded. And I was like, withdrawal.
And then the opposite end, the guy's trying to win $1 million and change his life, and probably buy his mom a car or something. And there you go. All right, let's get into it. We'll let Dustin start off. We'll start from the top here. DJ from 11-2 down to the 10-1. Brooks is withdrew, so Brooks is sayonara. So we'll go down to the 9,900 and up range because we'll add JT in there. Price's boy. Roll Tide JT. What's the one golfer you want to target up here, D Reed?
That one's tough. I mean, you got DJ who's not in particular spectacular form. He lost 10 strokes putting, which is insane, especially for him. So you kind of worry about that playing a factor. Usually with somebody like him, it doesn't matter. We saw it last year. So obviously he's, I think, the most talented at this point in his career, but not too far ahead of most of these other guys. So I like DJ at the top. And then you have McIlroy, who won a couple years ago here. So, but if I had to pick just from a DFS perspective, I might lean Xander. He rates the best of my model. He's been, very, very solid, for a long time now. And so I just feel like he's somebody that you can kind of trust. Rory's obviously been a little sporadic and miss a cut here and there. And then obviously Brooks withdrew. You had JT who struggled off the tee a couple weeks back. So I think Xander's a good spot. But if you held a gun to my head, I'm taking DJ.
What about you, Price?
I'm with him on DJ. I mean, I know he's just god awful putting. I mean, to lose 10 strokes putting is unheard of for the number one player in the world. But I would disagree on Xander. Xander rates the worst for me in this range. But if we're going to include JT, he rates out great for me every week. I have strokes gained JT in my model every week. But I think it'd be DJ 1. And then if we do true 10,000s, it'd be Rahm 2. Because Rahm has steadily improved every year here. And he's on record saying he likes the course. He knows he needs to do better here. Yeah, it's scary, though. It's old roars. He's looked pretty damn close to being back the last 2 weeks.
So y'all just like everybody?
No, we don't like Brooks.
I mean, these are the top players in the world. Of course, you're going to like them all.
Yeah. So who's the one player that you're not playing? I guess Price. Xander. What about you, Dustin?
Probably Rory. Even though, like Price said, he has been striking the ball really well. It's just kind of like he's burned me one too many times, man.
There's those 2 words that I always like to utter when we're talking about Rory.
He's due.
He's due.
He's doo-doo, maybe.
Yeah, so he's number 1 on my model. He just is off the charts too on my model when all my metrics that I'm looking at. So it's tough not to play him in at 10-6. Like I understand Rahm being at 10-9, but I don't know. I think the level of JT is at 9-9 is very, very enticing. But Xander does rate out really well. He's number 3 in my model. I know Price's model, he doesn't really like him as much, but I like Xander. His off the tee game I'm a little worried about that. His fairway gains is not good. He also, his 3-putt avoidance is another stat I'm looking at. Not the best for me. But let's move on to this next range, because I think that top range is there's all those golfers you can make a case for. That's why they're rated up there. But if you go down below JT, you will start with the Bryson, who Price said you can't overpower this course. So, but 3 out of the 4 holes, everybody in the field, so you don't have to have Bryson link, can get on in 2. And then the 4th par 5, the upper echelon guys like Bryson, and a few others can, like Finau and players like that caliber, can reach that par 5 in 2. So I don't know. Is his distance a big factor here? And it can be penal if you miss the fairways with actual penalties. So what y'all's taking Bryson in this 9K range and overall?
I'm not touching Bryson this week, to be honest. Even in an MME build, I'm out on him. I think Webb is going to be the most popular play this week in general, and for good reason. I mean, he has 2/16 in a win the last 3 years here. He's a stud,
I mean,
this is a course that fits his game.
Yep.
I'm not off Bryson. I think he showed a little something on Sunday with the conditions they were, and to come out and still, play really good golf. So, if his game's clicking, obviously he's he's known for the bombs and this and that, but 9,700 is pretty cheap for a caliber player like him. Is he 200? Yeah, I tend to want to go JT if I was gonna go in that range. But I think Webb is just a lot safer at 9,500. You know what he's going to give you. He's not a long guy, but he's going to be accurate. He's a great putter. His irons have come along. So I just think, like Price said, he's going to be the highest owned. And then you got another guy right below him, Morikawa, who's been phenomenal besides his putting. Kind of turned that around, obviously won. And so those two guys, I mean, it's kind of hard to – they're both so good, especially in that, the ranges you're looking at with the approaches and the being safe off the tee. So I think it'll come down to how you're going to build your lineup. I think I'm going to shun away from all the top end guys at the 10 and 1100 and kind of start my build here.
Yeah, I love the balanced build approach this week, especially with the players when we get to the 7K range, the quality of golfers that we have there. You can scoop up 2, maybe even 3 of these 9K players if you get on the lower end echelon of it. But Cantlay, to me, I love at 9,200. I'm a big Cantlay fan. He's due. His putting, 94th in putting on my model scares me. But him and Hovland, I would love to start the round with those two golfers. And if you are able to fit in Webb Simpson as well, and then go down in the 7K, low 7Ks and scoop up the value plays down there to finish out a lineup. But that's kind of where I'm at. Is those are the 3 golfers that I'm specifically looking at.
And to keep in mind, you can look back because a lot of these guys don't have course history because it got canceled last year. But if you go look back at the first round, Hovland shot 4 under, Morikawa shot 4 under. So Webb shot 4 under, and Cantlay was 5 under in the first round last year. So even though you're not getting to pull that data, they came out, and a lot of those guys, the younger ones, their first time out, attacked the course and did well. So even though you don't really get that on the registered data, you can go look at that and see they're comfortable on this course, and now it's the second time around playing it. So it should feed into them doing well again this week.
Yeah.
And to touch on Morikawa,
yeah,
he rates fantastic. There's been like 5 times he's gained more than a stroke putting, and he has like 3 wins, a second, a fourth, and a 7th. So if his putter actually works with his iron game, he's nearly impossible to beat.
Yeah, for sure. He's 5th on my model. He stands out crazy good. Would you rather play Kawa or Webb Simpson, Price? Don't think about ownership. Just as who's going to score more DraftKings points?
Webb. He's a better short game putter, and I'd rather have that with the history at the course.
Yeah. What's y'all's, just quickly, your one fade of this range? I'm going to start with Patrick Reed. He did not do good last week, but I just don't. When I look at his tournament history here, 24th, 22nd, a missed cut, 41st and 47th. I don't see his upside whenever you have players around him like that I like a lot better. So yes, he is at the bottom range of the 9K, but that's and I'm a Patrick Reed fan, but I'm going to fade him this week.
I guess I'll go. Chances are, whoever I say, you might want to
play.
Force him in your lineups because I've had bad track record with some fades here. But I'm going to go with Hovland. I know he's been on fire up until this last week. I mean, he had 2 top 2s and then 5th or something. But had 2 bad rounds there to end it. He's kind of creeping up there in price. I mean, if I'm looking at this, I'd rather have a Cantlay, Simpson, or Morikawa personally over Hovland. But I mean, I love Hovland's game. I think he's going to be phenomenal. But just this week, coming off those bad couple rounds, maybe some hangover there. The other guys playing really well, even Finau and Patrick Reed. So that would be my guy, or Bryson, I guess. One of those two.
I feel like Bryson's kind of the cop out answer,
Yeah. Is that what you're going with?
Nope. I'm going with your boy, Tony Finau. And I love Tony Finau.
I'm shocked.
I'm fading his ass this week, and it's going to win me some money.
Well, as long as your stick scoffers play well.
Oh, yeah, that too.
I mean,
I'd say it's like 50-50, whichever works. I don't know.
Hey, Finau's
going to win the tournament, and Price isn't going to have 3 missed cuts.
Hey, 4th, 2nd, 14th. Let's fade him. Terrible.
Let's fade him. All good things come to an end, Dustin.
It's true.
It's going to be Finau this week. I'm off the Tony train.
All I know is the AK range is littered with Dustin players. The Texas fight.
Compliment.
I mean, you just need to play Scotty Scheffler and Jordan Spieth, and why do we need to look anywhere else, right?
I mean, my boy Spieth has been really good. He went up way in price. Back down to earth here in a stacked event. He's just been playing really good, figuring out a way. I mean, he's making holes in ones and chipping it in and all sorts of crazy shit. So.
Thursday through Saturday, he's freaking phenomenal.
Exactly. But, even so, he has been still finishing at least, decently. So,
yeah, when you get yourself in that good of a position through 3 rounds, when you shoot, 74, 75, it don't matter. You still finish top 10.
You can ignore the 4 out of 5 missed cuts that he has here in the past, 6 years. But
Spieth is the definition of the old guy that you play with. And you look down the scorecard, he's like par, and just looks like he's not even playing well or doing anything good.
But in seriousness, he's shaky off the tee, and so that's what kind of scares you. He's really good as iron. His short game's been phenomenal of late. So, if he has the tee game going, then he can definitely compete. It's just, and you don't have to hit it long here, so that's kind of in his favor because he's not a long hitter, but I think he's worth a look, especially at 8,600 the way he's been playing.
Spieth has 2 stats going for him really good. Proximity, a couple of them, 125 to 150, and then we did 150 to 175. So he stands out really well there. Obviously, he's a good putter, and he's a gritty player who just gets the most out of his talent. So how do you not like him at 8,600? But I'm not touching Jordan Spieth. With that said, but Scotty Scheffler, Price, your boy, 5th off the tee, 4th around the green for me. Ball striking was number 16th this week. A lot to like, and he's in the 8K range.
Yeah, he's my favorite 8K range. Him and Decky are probably the only 2 I'm going to look at playing in the 8K range, to be honest, because I'm going to go kind of stars and scrubs. So if I do that, I'm drop down to them and maybe Berger, but I'd rather do Matz and Scheffler in this range. Just they rate out fantastic for me. I mean, Decky's quietly played well the last few weeks, back-to-back top 20s. He tore this place up last year. As long as his putter is not even mediocre, but slightly below average, he's going to do well. And I love Scotty this week. He came out first year last year and tore it up first round. So
Hideki on the putting stat, 149.
He's just so frustrating.
Oh my gosh, dude! So I can't believe you didn't mention Sanjay M. He's killer in the model.
I thought about using him, but I'm not going to get there this week.
Why? Tell me why you don't lock and load.
I'm just not going to play him. He doesn't rate out that well for me. He didn't make the cut here 2 years ago. He didn't play that well the first round last year. And I'd rather either pay up for Scheffler or Decky or drop down to the 7K range. The rest of the 8K, and I mean, I love Turtle Hatton. I'm not going to play him. Love Adam Scott. Not going to play him. And there's no way he could get me to roster Jordan Spieth at this course. No way.
Can't believe you didn't even mention Jason Day or Fitzpatrick.
Yeah.
I mean, Day has really good course history, but
What you got against Fitz, dude?
Yeah, bro. He's made some showdown money for us.
This course is designed for him, even though his approach game was pretty crap last week.
yeah, I'm pass.
All right, let's get to the 7K range. We don't even have to talk about price. He's going to say Tommy Fleetwood, and we just move on. Is that correct?
Nope.
Oh, shots fired, Fleetwood, who won you $35,000.
It would have been 55 if he had made a par on the 72nd hole. So,
all right, you got to forgive him for that. So, what about trying to figure out who you like then, since you don't like Kokrak, who's been tearing it up for us.
Neiman, Answer, Connors. There's a ton of, like Price said, the stars and scrubs. That these scrubs aren't so scrubby. And like Max Homa, the dude's been playing really well. 7,600, won a tournament a couple weeks ago, bounced back, had a 22nd, I think, and then what did he get last week? 14th?
10th. He backdoored a top 10 because of the tough conditions.
So, at 7,600, I like that. Zalatoris, we've been on him a lot lately, 7,600.
Do you think Zalatoris is going to be ownership is going to be through the roof because of his price tag?
I think he'll be like top 15 owned.
I think he's going to be like, what, 10 to 15% around there, I would imagine.
I'm debating if I want to go that route this week or just because I don't know if I want to go him or Answer. They're priced within 100 of each other. I feel like Answer is a better player. But man, Zalatoris has just been fire since he went pro.
I hate his putting stroke. It drives me nuts. How can someone with that great of a stroke and swing putt like that? Ugh.
I don't know. It'd be like if Steph Curry just threw like lasers at the rim out of free throws. It doesn't make very much sense, but he's just a phenomenal ball striker. Homer rates out top 20 for me, and he's been playing phenomenal. He's played 7 weeks in a row. At some point that's got to stop.
Maybe. All I know is Ryan Palmer. They added 3 years ago more water holes, and a couple weeks ago you said, "I don't care how much water there is. You're playing Ryan Palmer," and he shit the bed. Where are you at with Ryan Palmer this week?
He didn't shit the bed.
He didn't make the cut.
There was no cut.
And exactly. That's how bad he was.
This guy. No, I'd rather play Connors or Henley than him. Connors rates out fantastic. He's going to be a lot more popular after last week.
Yeah.
But he's just like Decky. He rates out better than Hideki, slightly in putting. For me, he's 132nd and Decky's 145th, so just a tad better. But Connors, man, he can just hit the ball.
He can. I love these ball strikers, but my gosh, it's hard to play 6 people that can't putt. And you're looking at a shot tracker and it's like, 7 foot for birdie and it's a par.
I will say, so my thought process behind it, it's smaller than average greens and they're fast. And I feel like that negates putting. If it was like a big slow green, I feel like that would hamper the bad putters more than fast putting that on small greens.
Yeah. Is there that many slow greens on the tour though?
Nah, it's mostly over.
I feel like they're all pretty fast.
Here's the thing though, if you're hitting the greens, you're giving yourself a chance. It's like Connors is, I think, second in my model in greens and regulations, even though he's 68th in putting in mine. So yes, he's 68th in putting, but he's getting way more opportunities because of how well he's striking the ball. So, you can take that as a guy that, doesn't get as many, never gives himself as many opportunities. So that's kind of how I look at it. Obviously when you're terrible putter, it's a little different, but, so
I agree. And I will say one stat I think that's really overlooked by the community is opportunities gained. I know you just touched on it, but just to harp on that a little bit more, he's top 10 in my model for that. and you got to put yourself in position. And I think, I mean, the approach obviously is the best stat, but opportunities gained has been something I'm looking at more and more all this year, and I'm putting more and more weight and emphasis on it. And Corey Connors checks off that box.
Did y'all touch on Kirk?
I'll go for it.
No, I mean, for a guy that's 7,000, that's, in his past 5 events has 4 top 20s, got 8th last week, really striking the ball well. Off the tee's been good, tee to green. I mean, he's gained positive in every major strokes gain category the past 2 weeks. So he's playing really well for a guy that you can get at 7,000 that I think can, get another top 20. And especially in a stacked field like this, like Price said, if you're going stars and scrubs, he's kind of a guy that I think will fly under the radar a little bit.
You have another young stud, Sam Burns, who was highly touted and shit the bed. 7,300 is their Bermuda greens again, so that's the putting surface he likes. I think his game would set up well for this course. And I think he's going to be low owned after the egg he laid.
I'm so mad. I don't know why I switched from Homa to Burns Wednesday night. So I have a huge pain in my heart from that. I don't think I'm going to click Burns, even in MME. I don't think I'm going to get there this week. I think there's better options.
His price is pretty enticing.
What's really hard for me is Siwoo because he's been god awful.
Yeah, and he won here in 2017. What's so crazy? His other last 2 years playing here, though, he won in 63rd and 56th. So it's not like he won in top 10 the other couple of years. He
historically does well at the Pete Dye courses too.
Yeah,
which makes it hard to just completely disregard him. But I think I'd rather play Cameron Tringali than him at the same price.
He's been a beast.
Better form. And I really want to click Cam Davis, but he was really, really bad last week.
Yep.
I think the is Ricky Fowler instant fade.
I mean, what has he done?
He looks last week.
He looks completely lost. So, yes, he has a victory here. It was 2015.
Ironically, it was right after the poll came out on tour players voted him the most overrated golfer, and then he went out and won.
Showed them.
So, but I think Fowler is an instant fade for my liking. There's a lot of good plays here. Man, there's a ton of good plays here. There is a lot of good plays here. I mean, like Neiman, 7,700.
Yeah.
I know. I was looking at back. I bet him in December for the British Open. He was 150-1. He's now 30-1 in everything. He's been playing that well this year.
Wow.
And you get him super discounted this. I mean, he's cheaper than Rose and Usti, who both withdrew last week.
Yeah, thanks, Rose.
As we go down and wrap things up in the 6K range, I just hope that we don't hit Sebastian Munoz this week. I just don't. I really hope that y'all don't tempt me to try to smash that guy in the lineup. Showdown.
We will. We'll wait.
No, he's gonna have a good round one.
We will agree. Munoz is off the list, but so is Kyle Stanley.
Fuck Kyle Stanley. I'm on it. Yes, Stanley and gosh, Stanley just killed my week long.
You know who rates out decent for me is Duff Daddy.
Duffner, Mr. Auburn,
6,100 rates out top 25 for me. But God damn, that is a scary click because
Doug
he's not good.
6,200.
And Wawrinski coming off a good week, has good history here.
Yeah, I do like Richie. You're taking my play.
You got Putnam, dude. Back-to-back top fives.
I know he rates out so bad for me though.
But it's just, I mean,
but he's been putting lights out.
Phenomenal. And his approach was good last week too.
That's it. If his irons are good, he's going to play very, very well because he's relies a lot on his short game. So if you got the irons going, that dude can go low. And he's cheap. He's what, 6,300?
Yeah, he's got a stretch going too. I mean, he had a 55 at the AT&T. Oh, geez, how many T's was in that?
That's a pretty tough one to get out there.
But 3 of the last 5, he's top 10. I mean,
I know. I mean, if you go him and old Richie to start, you can do whatever you want.
Do whatever.
But I really like Grillo too.
Yeah.
I know a lot of times people look at the price and they're like, man, but this is one of those where some of these guys have been playing really well, been playing good golf, beating these other guys that were paying up for it.
I mean, I know we said screw.
Right?
What about Kyle Stanley though at 6,500? He has a fourth here. His stats, he's 26 on my model. The stats coming into this tournament, minus last week, are really good.
You couldn't even last 5 minutes in our agreement.
No, well, look, last week was brutal. I get it. But coming in,
what has Kyle Stanley done the last 2 years here?
Well, tell me what he did in 2017.
I don't care. My real job is what have you done for me lately? What has he done for us lately?
Well, lately he's got a 32nd, 18th, 36th, 39th, 32nd, and then he tripped and fell and missed cut last week.
I'll take Putnam, got 4th last week.
Yeah. I'll take Putnam and Richie, who top 5.
Well, then you can just do 3 in the 6K range. You say stars and scrubs, Bryce.
I got 2 guys at the 6,700. Naismith, who obviously missed the cut, but up until that point has been playing really well. And then Norlander. What do y'all think about those guys?
Nate and Norlander. Naismith rates out 36th for me in the stats this week. So he's on the cusp there. But there's actually 3 guys. I guess 4 if you count Steele, because Steele rates out well. That at 6,700 could be in the mix with Steele, Grillo, HV3, and Naismith.
I mean, HV3, he's either good or he's terrible.
I know.
There's no in between. And he'll play one day.
I still remember when we were at Roy Kaiser playing golf, and I had Naismith in my lineup, or not Naismith, HV3, and I was in first place when they made the turn on Sunday. And just watching my phone and Chris screaming at me from the green behind the tee box. What happened? Because HV3 just got a fucking 10 on a par 4. It cost me all my money.
Did you get the 10 or did he get the 10?
Y'all did, you and him.
So another player I like down here, young gun, Doc Redman, 15th on my model.
Surprise.
I do like Doc Redman, but it is smaller greens. So small greens. So his around the green game sucks. He's 148. That has me concerned. But his fairway gained 17th. His opportunities gained 23rd. You gotta give yourself some opportunities. And also
look
proximity.
at him since the Bermuda.
Let's look him up. Let's look.
He's been terrible. I mean,
61st miscut, 70th miscut, 66.
I'll tell you a guy who you should be looking at, Keegan Bradley.
Dude, his stats are horrible. His tournaments.
So this is.
But it doesn't matter though.
It does matter.
No, it doesn't.
No matter how the stats pop, recent form also has to come into play.
Well, the week before at the Shriners, he missed the cut, lost strokes, and then he gained 11 strokes and got fourth at the Bermuda the next week. Like the same thing from like round 1 to round 2. Like it doesn't necessarily always transfer.
This isn't the Players. It's Bermuda. He was probably the highest rated player of that field.
Just trying to throw out somebody at 6,300. God, he rates out well in my model.
That's like somebody
He
going.
rates out 13th in mine. He rates out very well for me.
Look at that. See, that's a
But
good.
I'm not going to play him.
I'm not. I mean, he's
got me interested. What he ranks in mine here.
Just go all the way up. Scroll up, you'll find him at the top. Probably around Rory and
88th. So my
That's
model
where he'll finish.
Broken model.
I think it's correct.
Hey, you want to? We'll do a pick'em down here.
Duffner, or you can take Duffner.
6,300 or less.
Deal.
All right, I'll take
Putnam.
Hold on, let me figure out who I want.
I'll take Tom Hoagie.
I can't believe you're not taking Doug Gimme.
I hate him. He broke my heart.
Or Dustin not taking the cucumber.
Dude, he was so bad last week. Oh my God.
You got to ride the cucumber till never mind.
Oh gosh, Dustin. You Dustin, ride that cucumber. You ride it. All right, let's wrap up on that. Dustin has to go. He's got a cucumber to ride. Have you looked at any good betting odds, Price?
He's laughing over there. You didn't pick your player though.
No, he gets Doc Redman.
Yeah, exactly.
I'll take Doc Redman.
All right.
Sorry. Oh, I haven't really.
You thinking about Dustin riding a cucumber?
It's a family show, Chris.
So I did a couple of $15 bets. I took Kirk at 140 to 1 and Wawrinski at 225 to 1. The problem is I think it's going to be a top guy who wins, and I don't want to bet DJ at like 12 to 1. So I'll probably try and just hammer first round leader again, which, I'm glad that we got the bogey on the last hole by Connors for Roy's chop format last week, but still, it's going to be one of the top guys who I think wins. But if it's a long shot, I'll take our boy Richie. Give me some money.
All right. Bang, bang. All right, Justin, have some fun tonight, and we will talk to y'all soon.